and gentlemen, and honored guests, welcome to the second ever induction event of the Woburn Hall of Fame. My name is Alex Thomas, and I will be your host here this evening. Tonight, we come together to honor the talents, leadership, integrity, and community spirit that is the heart of Tanner Pride. The achievements and contributions of this evening's inductees as athletes, teammates, coaches, founders, mentors, inventors, and ambassadors for our schools and our city have made them heroes in both Woburn and beyond. Heroes not only because of what they did, but because of how they made us feel. We are proud and grateful to be here this evening, for the challenges of the past 2 years have reminded us how important it is to take every opportunity to celebrate, to reminisce, and to stay connected with old friends. This event has been a long time coming, so let's kick things off with a round of applause for tonight's inductees. The Woburn Hall of Fame is a collaboration between the Woburn Community Educational Foundation and Woburn Memorial High School, formed to honor and recognize those individuals whose integrity, achievements, sportsmanship, and character have enhanced the overall educational experience of our youth and inspired pride in our schools and communities. All proceeds from the Woburn Hall of Fame support projects for today's students in Woburn Public Schools. Now it is my pleasure to introduce the principal of Woburn Memorial High School, Jessica Callahan.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. It is my distinct honor to be here with all of you this evening, and as Alex said, at the second annual Woburn Hall of Fame induction. I would like to take a moment to honor some of the people that worked diligently over the past several years to make the Hall of Fame a reality. Please give a round of applause for the Hall of Fame committee members, Woburn Memorial High School Athletic Director Jim Doran, Administrators Meg Patrici and Ed McGuire, WCEF Representatives Mike Martini, Don Freeman, Brian Teague, Maria Zoku, Ken Busa, and Doug Lentz. I would also like to recognize and thank the following people for attending and supporting our work. WCEF board member and Woburn Public Schools School Committee member Colleen Cormier, the WCEF board members Joe Crowley, Sue Ellen Holland, Chris Irving, Robert E. McGuire, Rick Metters, and Nancy Whalen. Thank you all. The next person may think I forgot her, but that could never be the case. This event would not be possible from inception to today without the hard work and vision of Maureen Willis. Maureen, thank you very much for everything that you've done to make this happen. Woburn Public Schools and all of your other noble endeavors, to include English at Large and WCEF, your work and dedication does not go unrecognized, and the City of Woburn should be appreciative for everything that you do. Thank you. On a somber note, I would like to highlight that we are here tonight without one member of the original Hall of Fame committee, Mr. Paul Andrews. Sadly, this year, the world and Woburn lost Paul, who was an educator, school and community leader, mentor, father, and human being that truly made a positive impact and difference in the lives of those that had the opportunity to know him. Please join me in a moment of silence in remembrance and to honor Mr. Paul Andrews. Thank you. I know we are all eager to move on to the main event of recognizing and remembering the amazing athletes and community members of Woburn. Before we do, I would like to close by saying that this will be my final Hall of Fame induction, but as I depart Woburn, one of the pieces of Tanner pride that I will keep is that this small committee was able to create a new institution in Woburn that will hopefully benefit Woburn Public Schools and the Woburn Memorial High School for years to come. Now, without further ado, I turn the evening back over to our MC, Alex Thomas. Thank you and have a wonderful night.
Woburn Memorial High School has a proud and distinguished tradition of educational excellence and athletic achievement. This Hall of Fame has been established to recognize those individuals whose integrity, achievements, sportsmanship, and character have enhanced the overall educational experience of our youth and inspired pride in our community. It is a celebration of our shared history, and as an institution will stand in tribute to the contributions of the inductees. The Woburn Hall of Fame event is a fundraiser with a goal to generate revenues that will help pay for new and innovative academic and athletic programs at the high school and at every school in Woburn. To make it easier for you to support the financial success of the Woburn Hall of Fame, we have conveniently placed envelopes on each table. Please take one with you this evening and consider making a gift to honor tonight's esteemed inductees. Thank you for your support. Now it is time to call forward this year's class of inductees into the Woburn Hall of Fame. In preparation for this evening's event, inductees, their families, and teammates were invited to participate in an interview, which has been produced into a video by Woburn Public Media. As the inductees are announced, their interview will be broadcast on the big screen, which is located to my left. Inductees, we ask you to watch your video segment from your seat and then come forward to receive your commemorative plaque. We ask that you then proceed to the rear of the ballroom for pictures. Let's begin. It is my distinct pleasure to announce the first category of inductees into the Woburn Hall of Fame, Distinguished Alumni. Woburn Hall of Fame Distinguished Alumni are graduates of Woburn High who have made outstanding contributions to society so as to serve as a source of pride to WMHS and the greater Woburn community. Richard Harold Cavicchi served for his country for more than 65 years. First in the U.S. Army during World War II, and then for 60 years with NASA. Richard held numerous degrees, received dozens of citations and awards for his work, and further contributed to his field as both a leader and an educator. His family is here with us tonight to accept this honor on his behalf. We are proud to induct Richard Harold Cavicchi as a distinguished alumnus into the Woburn Hall of Fame. The next inductee in this category is John Flaherty, a successful businessman committed to making his hometown a better place. John has used the proceeds from his successful business to both honor and preserve Woburn history and to support Tanner Pride. And we are now proud to induct John Flaherty as a distinguished alumnus of the Woburn Hall of Fame.
So John, what was special about growing up or living in Woburn?
It's a very tight community. Everything is here.
What makes you want to give back to the community?
I just see stuff that needs to be fixed, or, things that need to be done for the city or church or whatever. Turns into, if it's a half decent cause, I'll get in the middle of it and get it done and move on to something else, Tanner Pride means to me unity. Woburn's got a great community of people that volunteer and are there for somebody to help somebody out. There's all kinds of groups like that are just self-funded and everything else.
Yep.
So it's a great place to live.
Who was your biggest influence growing up?
I would say would be Jim Brennan. He was a housemaster back when I was in school, 74. He would keep me in line, or try to. And I got very fond of him, and he was fond of me. And I really old-fashioned and just good-hearted guy. Gave his whole life to the kids in the city of Woburn.
So how does it feel now to be honored as a distinguished alumni for the Woburn Hall of Fame?
I think it's great. I wish I was good in sports. I think it's a wonderful thing to have, and I don't know if every other city or town has it, but this town has everything you can name. It's here one way or the other,
The final inductee in this category is Leo McElhiney. Leo led a life of service to both his country and community. Following his discharge from the U.S. Navy, he served on the Woburn Police Force for more than 35 years, retiring as chief in 1986. As a community leader, he helped build many of the institutions that have made Woburn the community that it is today. His son John was in the first class of inductees in the Woburn Hall of Fame. His family is here with us tonight as we honor Leo with the same distinction, inducting him as a distinguished alumnus into the Woburn Hall of Fame.
So Dennis, what do you think your father thought was special about growing up in Woburn?
I think just growing up, seeing the neighborhood, people help one another. His mother and father helped, try to help a lot of people. When he got on the police force, he tried to do things to keep kids active, safe, so they wouldn't get in trouble. And I think that's why he was involved so much in, maybe back starting in the 50s, the Pony League, the PAL, the Babe Ruth League, and helped start the Women Boys Club too.
I don't know if this was a term back then, but what do you think Tanner Pride meant to your dad?
Pride in Woburn, pride in its people. He also had Tanner Pride for academics. I know it wasn't called Tanner Pride back then, but he said anybody could get a good education at Woburn High School as long as they took advantage of it.
So how do you think he would feel to be honored as a distinguished alumni at this Hall of Fame?
He'd be humbled, but I think he'd say, you didn't have to do this. During his career, he had a lot of titles, whether or not he was an officer, sergeant, chief, and a chairman of this, chairman of that. I had the privilege of just calling him Dad.
We will now move on to recognize 3 individuals who, as community members, have made substantial and outstanding contributions to the Woburn Interscholastic Program. Charles Chuck Greene was the founder of Woburn's Pop Warner Football. As coach of the Woburn Trojans team and first treasurer of the Woburn Pee Wee Association, Chuck was part of the leadership that built the foundation of Woburn Pop Warner, making the program what it is today. His family is here this evening to join us in celebrating the induction of Charles Greene Sr. into the Woburn Hall of Fame.
My father came out of Western Pennsylvania, where he played football at Johnstown High School football, which the name of the team was the Johnstown Trojans. That's where the Trojan name came from for the Pop Warner team.
Okay, yep.
So he played football.
When you watched a football game with him, he was one of those guys that could tell you the play before the play was run, because he really understood the game.
When he, after the Navy, moved to Woburn, managed the Dynamo in Billerica. He joined the Woburn Little League, and at the same time, he coached and managed the semi-pro Billerica Knights in football.
His biggest thing was getting these kids involved and getting playing. And he was, at the time, he had just opened up the diner, so he was a real busy guy.
But it always bugged him that Woburn didn't have a Pop Warner team. So in 1959, he traveled and put in for the franchise for Woburn. But he started with Woburn Little League. That was his thing, to play Little League. And he was one of the first. He started at the Towanda Club in Woburn. They had a meeting they wanted a minimum playing rule for all kids, and he was one of the first ones to initiate the two-inning rule. All kids would play. So the thing about the Tin of Pride is, like, we all coached in youth sports from my dad's, the way he did it, you know.
You know, like he said, I think his dad died at a young age, and he embraced the family, and he embraced that. And I think that was the biggest thing for him, being able to give back to the city, because he didn't have it.
Torrice was involved in Woburn schools for more than 50 years. A member of the Recreation Commission and School Committee for more than 30 years each, he was the founder and benefactor of the All Scholastics Honor Wall at Woburn High. For decades, Carl helped run senior athletics, attended almost every game, and sponsored the annual athletic banquet for senior athletes. He was a true Woburn Tanners superfan. We are pleased to have his daughter Carol and his family with us this evening as we induct Carl Torrice into the Woburn Hall of Fame.
What's special about growing up and living in Woburn?
Well, I found that my father taught me, there's great neighborhoods, great schools. We're very lucky to have all the wonderful schools we have. There's great achievements. My father always wanted to be involved, and he taught me to do that too, to be involved in the city of Woburn, to do whatever you can to make it a better place. That's why he was in Pop Warner, Little League, Recreation, School Committee. Yep. So I think Woburn's a great place to grow up and to have the children grow up. He had many accomplishments, I have to say, but I think the first one would be the all-scholastic portraits that are in the hallways of the Woburn.
Oh, yeah.
He started that. He decided to have, not only have them the honor of being in the Boston papers, but he wanted a portrait of them. So he would choose them, get a picture, and he actually hired, we paid Dave Olson from the Times to sketch those pictures for many, many years. He also started the senior athletic banquet. So every senior that played sports, they would be invited to, with their parents, to a banquet at the Elks. It was a really nice dinner we provided for them. And then he would talk to the coaches and ask the coaches which student of each sport deserved some special award. And then we would go out and buy the trophies and awards and give each student of each sport to get that award. But it wasn't our choice, it was through the coaches, which it should be. And he was kind of proud of that. That went on for years. And he just loved this city so much, and that's what he loved his family, of course, but his purpose in life was to do for the students in Woburn. He wanted to be there for them. He felt like, he always had an expression, I'm for the kids.
Varey was sports editor at the Woburn Daily Times for 18 years, during which time he was strongly involved in supporting and promoting Woburn sports, writing feature articles for local newspapers and newswire services. He helped found Woburn Little League and served as president during its formative years. His family is proudly here to represent Robert Varey, inductee into the Woburn Hall of Fame.
He just enjoyed Woburn sports, and it was giving back. He didn't think of it as volunteering. He was just being a citizen of Woburn.
He liked what he was doing.
He loved, he loved Woburn. He bled black and orange.
Yep.
He didn't play a lot of sports in high school because they weren't offered. He graduated the class of '39, so he was a cheerleader.
He did play baseball in high school.
He played. Yeah. He and Ollie Galante were the left-handed and right-handed pitchers.
And that was with the North Woburn Reds, and then that was just after World War II.
A lot of people don't know, but he was the integral part of starting Woburn Little League with George Variety and Tom Higgins and all that back in the early 50s, 51, 52.
He was a people person. He loved kids. He loved baseball. And it was just, he just wanted to make sure everybody else had the opportunities to play and enjoy it as much as he did. He went to every varsity and junior varsity, baseball, hockey, football game. And, he would come home, write out all the story for the paper for the next day, and he lived Woburn sports.
Very proud of our father.
Yep.
Yep, he was a good guy. He was a good guy.
Announce the induction of individual athletes into the Woburn Hall of Fame. These individuals were all-scholastic student athletes who graduated from WMHS and made significant contributions to the school. They were selected for induction from the pool of nominated candidates based on their playing ability as well as their leadership, character, integrity, and sportsmanship. Jay Boyle had an outstanding 4-year varsity basketball career that culminated in an extraordinary senior season in which he and his teammates won 18 consecutive games. That is the longest winning streak in school's history. They also captured the Middlesex League championship. Jay graduated as the school's all-time leading scorer with 1,369 career points, ahead of Woburn Hall of Fame members Ron Abbey and Ed Foley. He also held numerous other single-game, single-season, and career records. Jay, congratulations on your induction into the Woburn Hall of Fame.
Woburn sports was a very competitive arena with basketball, the Middlesex League in particular. My senior year, we played, our team went over and played Watertown, at Watertown. The place was jam-packed, great environment. Ultimately, Woburn came out on top and we captured the Middlesex League title. I put up 33 points and we battled it out and won the game. Tanner pride means to me is, it's real generational. I was a fourth generation Boyle, great-grandfather, grandfather, father. I think it teaches a lot of values, not just athletically, but also family, teachers, friends, teammates, but lifelong lessons. When I was a young kid growing up, my passion was basketball, and I'm a real go-getter, and I always wanted to be the best. In doing that, anytime we had a practice, a game, and what have you, I always gave 110%. Yeah, so I'd like to thank both Mom and Dad, Jay and Julie, my teammates. I wouldn't be here without them. Frank Sensulo, I absolutely want to thank him. He was our coach through the 4 years. Woburn High School for the 4 years they gave me. In today's world, I want to thank my beautiful wife who's here in the crowd, as well as my son Logan and Charlotte.
Lennon was a multi-sport athlete at Woburn High, captain of the basketball and baseball teams. He also played quarterback on the Tanner's championship football teams of 1981 and 82. His career 22 touchdown passes tied the school's all-time record. In basketball, he is a member of the 1,000-point club and was all-league in baseball. It is no wonder that he was voted most athletic by his graduating class. Peter, congratulations on your induction into the Woburn Hall of Fame.
My parents were always very supportive and encouraged us to play sports and get involved in the community. So, since the age of, I want to say 6, right up and through high school and into college, I just loved playing sports. And it was thanks to Coach Sullivan and some of the other coaches that convinced me to be a quarterback. And truthfully, I didn't even know how to hold the ball. He taught me from scratch, and played basketball and baseball. In particular, my sophomore year, and again, we had Ronnie Hobby, who was inducted in the first class on the team. We played against Patrick Ewing in Cambridge, Ringe, and Latin, and I think that was in the semifinals of the basketball state tournament. Tanner pride, that's has many meanings, but I think it comes down to accountability, one's individual, your accountability. And I think when Coach Sullivan came to town in 1973, his idea was to create positivity, a presence, and carry yourself in such a way, particularly outside the city limits, that people would be proud of you, not to embarrass the city or your family. I have to say that my teammates throughout, from the boys club on, really pushed, and we pushed one another. And even though you got to play 1 or 2 days a week, it was all the behind the scenes, the practices, that put me in a position to succeed. But I would not be here today without them. Love Woburn, I love Tanner pride, I love what it stands for, and hope 50 years from now, it still carries on.
Our next inductees made impressive contributions to the girls' ice hockey program at Woburn High. Colleen Martin was a three-sport athlete at Woburn High, but her impressive record and achievements as a defender on the Tanner girls hockey team has earned her a place in the Woburn Hall of Fame. A defensive and offensive force, her total of 160 points is fourth all-time among defensemen in both boys and girls Tanner hockey. Her career plus-minus is an impressive 424. Not to be outdone, her friend and teammate, Colleen Sanborn, was a force on the girls' Tanner hockey team. She holds the all-time record for points with 284, 206 of which were goals and 78 of them assists. Colleen was league MVP in both her junior and senior seasons, and her talent earned her a scholarship to play Division I college hockey at Northeastern University, where she was named captain her senior year and led the team to a number 10 ranking in the country. Let's give a big round of applause for Colleen Martin and Colleen Sanborn and our inductees into the Woburn Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, I think for both of us, you know, being involved in Woburn sports was awesome to have, to be able to play with your friends and to have the community support behind you.
Even though we're years away from it, we still go back and support the kids. And that's been ongoing. The community in Woburn is just fantastic.
Is there a particular game or moment that still stands out for you?
I have one. So my father, Flip, he was like kind of our team mascot. He was sick throughout a lot of our games, and he ended up escaping from the hospital and coming to watch our state championship game, which we won. So for me, that will always forever be a highlight for me. It was probably one of the best days of my life.
What does Tanner pride mean to you?
Loyalty, dedication, commitment, fun. You know, I'm so grateful that we stayed in Woburn.
Yeah, and I think pride in where you're from, being able to wear a Woburn jersey meant a lot to us, and you know, having that community support that we talked about was so important. You know, looking back, I don't really think that we really realized how big of a deal it was of what we were starting off with in terms of kind of building a program. You know, my very first year, my 8th grade year was the first year that Woburn High had a team, and to look at the success that the program has had to this day.
I remember having conversations, like people coming up to our parents saying, do you know how good your kids are?
Obviously, Coach McCurtain would be very high on the list. I know both Colleen and I both feel that we wouldn't have been half the hockey players that we were if not for him, but more importantly to both of us, as we're both in our 30s now, we wouldn't be half the people we are if not for him.
He was the one that motivated me to want to give back, both coaching as well as becoming a guidance counselor. I would definitely say our athletic director, our principal, Megan Patrici for me, for soccer, and my parents. They mean the world to me, and I think, you know, for me, hockey was what kept me in line.
As it was, and Jim Doran came in, he was a very passionate supporter, obviously of hockey and of girls hockey, and so just having that type of leadership that cared about the program, that made it so that the program can grow and develop was so important.
I think it's important to note too, like, not only the coaching staff in McCurtain, they're not building just hockey players, they're building like individuals, you know, and that goes a long way.
honored for his athletic achievements in both football and wrestling. As a wrestler, Keith was a 2-year league MVP, was New England champion in 1982, and an All-American in 1983. His high school record was 106-4 with 64 pins. In football, Keith holds the Woburn High School record with 106 tackles in a single season. A leader for all seasons, he captained the wrestling, football, and baseball teams his senior year. Keith, welcome to the Woburn Hall of Fame.
I think the biggest thing about Woburn sports was the community around the people, that, you know, they really supported the organization. It was a very friendly town. It was always Woburn against everybody else, you know, because we were in the Middlesex League where there's a lot of money outside the other towns, but everybody in Woburn stuck together. I look at Peter Sullivan driving Tanner Pride, being together as a community and as a group. And to me, those are some of the best memories. It's just the experiences and the practices around the team. Tanner Pride meant to me, everywhere we went, you would hit the Tanner Pride sticker. Going outside the stadium, even on the road, we'd bring it with us. But it really was like us against everybody else. We were our own community, and we relied on all the energy of the people that came to the games that made us play and fight for Woburn. Woburn supported the community, and this has nothing to do with wrestling, but you know, Woburn people, if something happens.
Is there anyone you'd like to acknowledge or thank?
You know, Peter Sullivan, Rocky Nelson, my brother John, who was my wrestling coach. I'm glad I grew up there in that time and played. There was so many great teams I played for. I mean, I was part of the, you know, Woburn had 22 straight wins, you know, in a row. I expected to win every week we went out there. And I think everybody that we played with did too. I think I represent a lot of Woburn, being just personal accountability and making the right decisions. So that's it.
Yep.
And by the way, our best driver,
McLaughlin is being honored for his outstanding achievements as a fullback and linebacker on the Woburn Tanners football team. His career statistics include more than 200 tackles, 264 career points, 2,342 rushing yards. For his talents and contributions to his team, Mike was named the Middlesex League's offensive MVP and is now an esteemed member of the Woburn Hall of Fame.
When I think about Woburn sports, when I think about Tanner Pride, I think about people. I think about the flesh and blood, the heartbeat behind. I think about Rocky Nelson, and I know that's my time frame and how much he has meant to me. But when I say the flesh and blood, because you know, there are plenty of towns and cities. I've played with many guys who have come from championship cities and championship this and that, but I don't know if they talk about their cities like we do, like I do, like I did. And that's because of the heartbeat of the flesh and blood, the people from Woburn specifically, my mother and my father and guys like Rocky. And I think about my middle school years. I think about Ed McGuire. I think about Jim Doran, like those guys. I mean, Mr. McGuire took a group, myself, Ryan Kelly was a great teammate of mine, Steve Burns, another great teammate of mine, great friends, took us out to Notre Dame to go to just a basketball camp in like 7th or 8th grade. And that to me is like Tanner. I mean that's the heartbeat of what it means to me. What always gets me is the locker room, the atmosphere, the pregame, the Rocky Nelson speech. You would live to get to that moment on Friday night. You're looking forward to seeing Rocky with his orange shirt tucked in and his weird hats that he used to wear. Like you're looking forward and having my dad as a coach. I mean, you're looking forward to seeing Mr. Tarby walk around the Pop Warner back at Leland Field. Those people are all part of who I am. God saw it fit for me to grow up in Woburn and be a part of all of those people's lives. And I mean, I listed off, I could continue going, but that's what I think about my mom and my dad specifically. And then maybe my brother was a better athlete than I was. I was just angrier than he was. I just enjoyed hitting people more than he did. He won a state championship as a quarterback in 2005. Really cool stuff.
Nadeau Sankar is a legend in Tanner softball, a Boston Globe Division I Player of the Year in both her junior and senior years. She led the team to its first ever Division I North title. As a pitcher, her career highlights include a 65-6 record, 687 strikeouts, and an unfathomable 9 no-hitters and 3 perfect games. As a batter, she holds a .480 career batting average with 8 home runs and 107 RBIs. Liz, congratulations on your induction into the Woburn Hall of Fame.
I think that as I've been reflecting at what I liked the most about it is the fact that you got to play with the kids that you grew up with. And so I think that was a unique experience. I think my senior year, there were 10 of us on the team that were seniors. The game, I would say, is when we beat Bishop Fenwick and knocked them out of the state tournament for the first time in a decade. I remember the coach from Bishop Fenwick at the time, him guaranteeing victory in one of the newspapers, and us printing it out and blowing it up and putting it over the helmets. We beat them, and we were, I don't know if we were underdogs or what, but that was a huge victory for the whole team, and really stands out. There's just this level of commitment and pride that comes with growing up in Woburn. And we had ESPN coming to games to interview us. Practices to interview us so they could do highlights. The high five with Mike Lynch that we all got to experience, right? I don't think that we were capable of processing the magnitude of what we experienced. My success wasn't just because of me. It was a team sport, and without them and the way we committed to each other and the way we played together, that's what ultimately drove the success. Mr. Norton for nominating me, and then I think probably the committee, the Hall of Fame selection committee, for actually inducting me. So.
John O'Brien was an inspiration to family, friends, and all who came to know and love him. John was a star athlete at Woburn High, where he excelled in track and helped lead the Tanner football team to the 1979 Massachusetts State Championship. As an adult, he spearheaded a successful fundraising program for Woburn Tanners football, which included an annual charity golf tournament. We are grateful to have his family with us this evening as we induct John O'Brien into the Woburn Hall of Fame.
Well, he had a very strong sense of community, and I think that showed after he left, that he just always felt close to his family, and that was a big part of him in the sports, I think especially football, that they were just such a team. It wasn't, even though he was such a great star, it wasn't all about him.
Of course, the Woburn-Winchester game, which is always the biggest rivalry, and when they played, the winner was going to the Super Bowl, and he had a big touchdown right at the end of the first half. That's the moment that sticks out in my mind.
Yep.
And I think he liked that too, because my mother's side of the family grew up in Winchester. So it was always, you know, the Woburn-Winchester Thanksgiving games were just huge.
The pride aspect was basically John took pride in everything he did, no matter how, you know, big or small, and just, I think, attention to detail, and basically you're representing the city, you're representing the team every time you put the jersey on.
You know, everything he did, he just tried to do his best at. And that's why I remember always watching him in track. That was a nervous one for me, because it was, you're just kind of racing against yourself. And he was amazing. He never was boastful about anything. All through high school and even in Harvard, I remember one of his roommates saying once that there was kind of, when you first met John, he was the type of person, he just, when he walked into a room, he just lit up the room, and you always wanted to be around him.
O'Brien captained a very talented Woburn High golf team throughout his high school career. He was a Middlesex League MVP, held the record for the lowest 9-hole score, 32, at Woburn Country Club, and his talents and leadership helped drive the Woburn High golf program to very successful seasons as Middlesex League champions from 1996 to 1999, and Division II state champions in both 1999 and 2000. Please join me in giving Michael O'Brien a round of applause as he is inducted.
So growing up in Woburn, I was involved with sports all through my life, and there was a core group of us that, you know, from baseball to basketball, hockey, and then finally onto golf, which golf was the last thing that I picked up. We were always, you know, pushing for championships, whether it be Little League or through hockey or basketball, always, you know, competing with the best of, you know, Middlesex League in the state. In the fall of my senior year, it was the first state championship that we won for the sport golf. Tanner Pride just means to me that, you know, it's basically community-wide, that everybody throughout, you know, the neighbors, family, everybody was involved in, you know, pitching in, whether it be, you know, driving or actually, you know, playing golf with us. Our whole team, we knew that we were special when we would travel to New England events, and we would consistently have, you know, 3 or 4 players in the top 5. First of all, I'd like to thank the Woburn Golf and Ski. They allowed us to play there nonstop, and every employee over there basically took us in. I would also like to thank my family. Growing up, my father passed away when I was in middle school, and, you know, I was blessed with the best father in the world, and my mother stepped in, and she was the best mother in the world, and both of them supported me, you know, throughout early life. And then also my brother and sister, very thankful for, you know, my family, friends, and obviously the Woburn Golf and Ski.
Oldham holds the distinction of being Woburn's first All-American. She holds Woburn High's shot put record and set an all-state meet record at 44 feet and 9.25 inches. In her stellar career, Heather was a 5-time All-American and 3-time New England champion. She was inducted into the Massachusetts State Track Coaches Association Hall of Fame alongside Coach Bill O'Connor in 2017. Heather could not be here with us this evening and is being represented by her parents, who are proud to accept this distinction on her behalf. Congratulations.
One meet, I remember it was outdoors, and I think it was like all states or the relays. I just remember we did, I think we broke one of the records for javelin as a team. I just liked it because it wasn't just shot put, and it was like all of us, and it was just a big accomplishment because we all got PRs that day. And I think it was just great. Because my particular, what I was best at was shot put. Everyone comes, whether they're past, teammates or, community, just in general. Like I had people come up to me who I never even met, were like, "Oh, you're Heather Oldham. You did really good in the shot put." I'm like, "Thanks." Pretty much I would say more of my track coaches. Was it Joe Curran, Diane Conley, and Melinda, actually Walton. Overall, just everyone was in Woburn sports, like the whole town. Like when you move out to California and you see some of these places that are huge, it's kind of a small town.
Jason Paige is being recognized for his leadership and athleticism as one of the best players and a captain of the 2000 Division II state champion boys soccer team. Middlesex League MVP and Eastern Massachusetts All-Star, Jason's record boasts a total of 78 career goals, including 10 in tournament play. Jason, congratulations on your induction into the Woburn Hall of Fame.
So Jason, what did you enjoy most about being involved in Woburn sports?
I would say the camaraderie and the competitiveness. We had a great group of guys with soccer, and then even with track. It just kept pushing each other to get better, not only on the field, but just be better people outside. The first game I played as a freshman, it was in Watertown. I came in for a few. I only played for a few minutes, and I was actually able to play forward with my brother. So it was the first time playing a high school game with my brother. It was pretty neat. I ended up getting my first goal as a varsity athlete that day. Tin of pride at me, being proud of where you are and what you're doing and what you're accomplishing and competing in. You just want to win for not only for yourself, but for your team. Obviously, the two different sports, so soccer is more of a team sport, and you just want to be there for with your other teammates and be proud of who you're competing for and who you're competing with.
Looking back, is there anyone that you'd like to acknowledge or thank?
Definitely my family, my parents, with all their time and efforts that they put in supporting. Teammates, of course. I would never have done anything I was able to accomplish without them. And then, of course, coaches. My father and another volunteer parent was a coach all the way up through high school, where Coach Hantzis was there with and Coach Anderson and Sands. So.
Yep.
When it comes to wrestling, there are few in the same league as Michael Parziale. He won multiple sectional, state, all-state, and New England championships. His high school career ended with an extraordinary record of 179-13, as ranked 10th highest in Massachusetts history and first in Woburn history. He was named a high school All-American in 2001 from Wrestling USA. My congratulations on your induction into the Woburn Hall of Fame.
Mike, what did you enjoy most about being involved in Woburn sports?
I would say the friendships more than anything. I have some really good lifelong friends that I've met through wrestling, and some of my closest friends, people at my wedding, are from the wrestling community. So definitely friendships. My senior year, going into the state finals, I was able to get a pin, and that pin secured the state title for our team, which was the first ever state championship team in the history of the program. I think that was the most significant among a couple others, but that's definitely the most memorable.
What does Tanner pride mean to you?
It's a lot, so I'll try to put it into one sentence. I mean, win with class, lose with class to me. And if you see it through no matter what, basically. Even if you beat, you'd still take on the challenge, no matter what, win or lose, you know.
When you look back, is there anyone that you'd like to acknowledge or thank?
Definitely, you know, I had some fortunate teammates, coaches, family members, but I had, you know, Coach McLaughlin, Father John McLaughlin, was definitely influential figure in my life. I don't think I'd be where I am today without Coach McLaughlin. Of course, I call him Father John. He probably wouldn't want me to talk about him here, but doesn't ever take any of the credit. But pretty much changed my life in times of, you know, when I was down and out. Right? He was by my side at all times. So Father John was a huge influence on me, wrestling and in life.
A final round of applause for the individual athletes, now members of the Woburn Hall of Fame. Before we move on to our next induction category, I'd just like to take a moment to acknowledge tonight's event sponsors. Our silver sponsor, North Suburban Transportation. Bronze sponsors, Boston Bean Coffee, the Boyle family, Catalano Management, and Dunkin' Donuts. Chapters Recovery Center, the International Association of Approved Basketball Officials, Lamacchia Realty, Rick Metters and Mara Embler family, J. Mulkerin Realty, Nocella Paving, Northern Bank, Salem 5 Charitable Foundation, Solutions Over Sickness, and Winchester Cooperative Bank. Thank you for contributing to the success of this year's Woburn Hall of Fame. A round of applause, please, for Brian Millette, Anthony Giulio, Lauren Coleman, and Jennifer Gatta at Woburn Public Media for their work and production assistance on this evening's video. They're also generously donating copies of the video, which will be presented to the inductees after the event. For those wishing to purchase a copy of tonight's video, order forms are available on the reception table. We will now induct two coaches into the Woburn Hall of Fame. These men were nominated by members of the community and met the criteria for induction, having promoted integrity, sportsmanship, and sound educational values in their student athletes. They led their teams to success and instilled Tanner pride in both their players and in the community. The first coach to be inducted tonight into the Woburn Hall of Fame is Robert Bob Doran. As Woburn varsity golf coach for 39 years, he led the team to 21 Middlesex League titles, 5 Division North titles, and 3 Division II state championships. Admired by his players and colleagues, Bob was named Middlesex League Coach of the Year, as well as Boston Globe's Coach of the Year. His proud family is here tonight to celebrate with us as we induct Coach Bob Doran into the Woburn Hall of Fame.
My father enjoyed winning, and he was a true Boston fan through and through. And when it came to his golf team, he enjoyed being with the kids, and he had a certain way of coaching, a special interest in all of his players, and he knew each and every one of them. Black and orange were the colors in our house. He wore his Tanner hat, sweatshirt, and jacket with pride. I think his total victories was 312. That's a significant goal for a golf coach for his, especially as long as he went.
If he was here today, who do you think he would like to acknowledge or thank?
Oh, definitely Jim Doran, the athletic director.
Yep.
Close friend of his, Fran Fidel, was also a coach, also a teacher in the English department that he grew up with and played golf with. Frank Nork, the former hockey coach of Woburn High School, an art teacher here, who's also my godfather. 2 months after my dad passed, Jim Foley sent my mom a handwritten letter with a lot of accolades about my dad, what he did for the English department, and as a coach. But the one that really resonates with me is at the very end of the letter, he references, "I believe that Bob's demeanor carried on to his 328 wins and success of the golf team. And in some of those victories, the opponent may not have had the better golfers, but they had the better coach."
Middlesex League Coach of the Year, Boston Globe Coach of the Year, Massachusetts Coach of the Year, New England Coach of the Year, and Eastern Area Coach of the Year. Peter Hantzis coached the most successful teams in the history of Woburn Tanner soccer. He led teams to 13 consecutive winning seasons, 4 Middlesex League championships, several division and sectional championships, and a state championship in 2000. Through all this success, his teams also set a national standard for sportsmanship. We are proud to honor Coach Peter Hantzis as an inductee into the Woburn Hall of Fame.
So the kids were fabulous. They were just tremendous athletes and students. But the adults really were welcoming. People will say that there's a big competition in the fall sports, for example, between soccer and football. I can't ever remember having a harsh word or an argument with with anyone, Peter, Rocky, any of the Quayleys, the kids coached for quite a long time. We just got along great. In 1991, we were the last team to make the tournament. The one game that sticks out is Framingham because they were ranked in the top 10 teams in the country. And the thing that our kids could do is they were tremendous defenders. But we had Brian Kelly, who's probably the best goalie we've ever had. He shut them down. They had far more chances than we did. After the game, coaches from our league said, "Is that right? Did you really beat Framingham?" That's how unlikely it was. Pride is a sense of satisfaction or joy, mostly in your accomplishments or the accomplishments of someone next to you, near you. Could be your family, your community. But what I think of, there's so many moments that we're talking about our kids, that I coached. At one point in the late 90s, they went 61 games, and they only lost one game. But what's remarkable about their achievement was that during that 61 game streak, they only had one yellow card. So it was not only dedication to becoming the best players that they could be, it was also discipline. Soccer can be a rough sport. So there were plenty of opportunities to lose focus, and they never did.
The final induction category this evening is for athletic teams. To qualify for induction, teams must be nominated by the community and be comprised of student athletes whose collective behavior and success inspired pride in both school and community. There are 3 teams being inducted this evening into the Woburn Hall of Fame. All 3 are championship teams whose success truly engaged and brought great excitement to the entire Woburn community. Congratulations to the members of the 1975 field hockey team, Division I, District 1 state champions, and now inductees into the Woburn Hall of Fame.
I enjoyed being involved for the pride of being a tanner. Most importantly, I lived out my childhood through sports, and that helped me, always leading me in the right path.
The whole season was fun.
Yeah, and the championship game was fun. But again, you know, we would have been out there if we had no wins.
Absolutely.
It was great.
Yeah, we would have been there anyway.
Yeah, Paula Mullen was our coach. She's no longer with us today, and you know, if anything, we would do this in her honor, because she was wonderful. She was great for us, and
she was young and full of energy, and
she created this positive energy and the drive to succeed with every individual player. I think that Paula Mullen instilled and encouraged us to believe in each other, not only as a team, but as a family unit.
We were really the first young women to be affected by Title IX, really, you know, 2 or 3 years in.
What does Tanner Pride mean to you?
something that you always have with you. You know, no matter how old we get, and wherever we go, we can say, yeah, we were a Tanner, we played.
There was this camaraderie that was Woburn High School, and it was healthy, and it was fun, and it was...
Yeah, and to be proud of it. We were proud. We were, you know, we were awesome.
Yeah, we were good, but...
I think about the spirit of the community, not just the school, but I think about the city of Woburn when I think about Tanner Pride. I believe it's a feeling of a sense of belonging to something that was very important to me.
Yeah, you can look back and say, wow, it was a special time. And like you said, we worked hard and we played hard and we encouraged each other.
And when I reflect back and think about our team, I think about how contagious they were as far as the positive energy. And that positive energy generated so much within the community that we always had fans following us to watch our games.
I realize now how that has helped me become the person I am today. And I think that we just forget that that foundation is important for who we become, our work ethic, our empathy towards one another, our support, our kindness. All of that is interwoven into what we learned in sport, and especially field hockey.
Lastly, the 1975 team was a winner to the school, but during that time, I also think it was a winner to our community, the city of Woburn. So.
League champion and Division II state champion 1999 and 2000 golf teams. The first in Woburn High history to win back-to-back state championships. Congratulations on your induction into the Woburn Hall of Fame.
The team camaraderie was just really impressive. All of us played throughout the season together. We're always out there together, having a good time, pushing each other. I found that a great part of the experience.
Actually, we all grew up playing baseball. Like Obi was really good at baseball, Kurt was really good, Murph was good. And then Kurt and I were on the same team, the Giants, and we were 12. And we were close because we were the same grade and everything, and we just came up the Giants together. And he had asked me if I wanted to go golfing with him, and I was like, sure. We went to Woburn Country Club. Next thing you know, I have a full-blown membership. I'm like best friends with these guys. We would get dropped off. This is not a lie. At like 7 a.m., our parents would like rotate, and we'd get picked up at like 7 p.m.
I think for golf, it's much different than any other sport that, at, Woburn High, you have the basketball, that's just a season. Golf was a year, well, in the winter we'd have off, but it was a year-long competition between us.
Well, I think also we were the first real generation of like the Tiger effect on golf. Because golf was always popular, but once Tiger made it popular in the 97, 98, that was when we really started to get to high school.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to play golf. And Woburn Country Club was overrun with junior members, which was great for us, but the competitiveness to make the high school golf team was unreal. I mean,
to win the state title in '99, the first time in school history, and to have the top two golfers, and Murph and Obi was just, it was incredible.
Yeah.
It was, what a surreal experience.
Yeah, and it was special because that was Coach Doran's first ever championship. So.
There was multiple matches, I think, where everybody in the lineup broke 40, which was unheard of. I mean, we had such depth. I don't know if you guys remember listening to Queen after every match.
Oh, yeah.
A song called Another One Bites the Dust. And we would literally sing it as a group, and it was, we were just a confident group. But
yeah. But it kind of hit me a couple years ago. I was playing golf, and I randomly got paired up with Rugo from Winchester.
Oh, jeez. I beat him at Winchester, by the way.
Good job. And he started just saying, like, your team was so ridiculous. This is 20 years later, and he's still talking about how good we were.
Yeah, Woburn pride was like real and tough and high expectations.
No, I mean, you nailed it, right? I mean, it's pride and grit, right? Like, I mean, we're not tough physically, right? Like, we're not going to start a fight, but we took it so serious when we played Winchester. Like, we wanted to kick their ass so bad, especially at Winchester. And they were good. Like they were killing the other teams, and we wanted to kill them.
But I think it was more like all of us just coming together. Like I said, the community we're playing with members of the community. It's, everybody's rooting for us. We're rooting for each other.
Is there anyone you'd like to acknowledge or thank?
Our coach, Bob Doran. He's obviously not with us any longer, but he was a rock behind those teams.
I don't think without his guidance, I wouldn't play Division I college golf. I mean, he really set us up to be our best.
You got to remember too, right? We always had a chip on our shoulder because we were from Woburn, right? We played at Winchester, Belmont. Like, I'm talking some of the best courses in the U.S., never mind the state. I understood how great it was, but I didn't know we'd be here one day, in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
No.
But most certainly not least, we are proud to announce the induction of the 2000 MIAA Division II State Champion Boys Soccer Team into the Woburn Hall of Fame. Their talents and sportsmanship are a tribute to Tanner Pride. Congratulations.
I can remember pulling in to Worcester State for the finals and having like almost the whole school there, and everybody was ready to rock. It's pretty sweet to pull in on the bus and like feel that support right when you pulled in.
The other team was walking in, we were playing, and they were all, you know, the matching sweatsuits, matching bags and twos, and then you have us, jeans, sweatpants, raggedy bags probably from under 10s, and it was just great because, you know, you always look at those folks to like, oh, they don't have any business being on the field, and we 100% did. That was great.
I just remember actually in the finals, Mr. Lombardo over here just taking it down the sidelines when he scored his goal.
Yeah.
Pretty much went from end to end.
I think that was like the changing moment of our season. With Brad getting hurt, yeah.
We all rallied together a little bit.
Exactly. We kind of, I think, rallied around him being hurt. And then, honestly, we played probably our best soccer
from then on out.
From then on out.
What does Tanner Pride mean to you?
Tanner Pride? Is that a thing? No, I'm just kidding.
It's a thing.
What's a Tanner?
I would say, like, it's kind of going back to like the community, right? I mean, we all grew up together playing, you know, it's a tight, we know each other's families, traveled together, grew up together.
Family and success, you know, kind of going off the community thing. It's, you move away, you come back, see the same faces, just like going back to family.
Yeah, I would say the community, and then also just the sense of pride when you take the field and you put the jersey on, you know. We all had that competitive edge.
Going into every game, we kind of felt like we were bigger, stronger, and faster than everybody. If we weren't bigger, we were definitely going to be stronger and faster. And it's just that pride thing. And what it mostly came down to was, you know, having the bull on your shirt and being proud about it.
We had a good team. I think we knew we were going to be good, but I mean, we went undefeated, won a state championship. I don't see any of that happening, but I still think we.
And we only lost one game the year prior, or 2 games the year prior? Junior?
Something like that. Not that we didn't lose too many.
Yeah, we're at least you losing for sure.
But even on top of this season, we still had the outdoor in the spring.
Yeah.
That we took and won states there, and then we also took the Hall of Fame tournament too. We won there.
Yeah.
And I don't think we lost a game in either season.
No, we were on a pretty good winning streak there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So looking back, is there anyone you'd like to acknowledge or thank?
Parents.
Mom and
Pa.
Driving us around everywhere.
Yeah. For sure.
All the way from under 8s all the way up through.
Crazy.
You know,
Wait, how can we forget the coaches? Yeah.
I mean, even
Hantzis, Sands.
Hantzis, Sands. I mean, you can go back to
Mr. Duffy.
Yeah, Mr. Duffy, Mr. McElhiney,
Yeah.
Mr. Rosa.
Go back to travel
back in
coaches.
U12s.
Yeah.
Even those guys put in a lot of time.
Yeah,
And they volunteered.
Yep. They
Yeah.
didn't have
Those
any kids
were
on the team.
volunteers.
They just coached.
I think they
because
had just as
enjoyed
much
it.
fun as we were having at the time too.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
So it was, yeah, definitely the coaches.
Yeah, that coaches.
Before we wrap things up, just to note, all honorees tonight, individuals, teams, at the conclusion of the program, we ask that you go in the back of the ballroom for a group photograph. Again, all the inductees tonight, teams, individuals, everybody, head to the back of the ballroom at the conclusion of the program for a group photo. Congratulations again to this evening's inductees into the Woburn Hall of Fame. Your induction into the Woburn Hall of Fame was due to your talent, leadership, integrity, and community spirit. You are now part of a new tradition of Tanner Pride. Early inductees in what we hope will be a program that continues to honor this legacy for generations to come. Moving forward, the Woburn Hall of Fame will seek nominations for the next class of inductees every other year and will host a biannual induction event to continue this celebration of Tanner Pride. Therefore, the next installation of inductees into the Woburn Hall of Fame will take place in 2024, with a call for nominations to be announced in 2023. We hope you will consider joining the effort to sustain Woburn's newest institution. We will be in touch as work begins on the 3rd annual Woburn Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes this evening's formal program. Thank you very much. Have a great night.